We had a big first week here in Disney's Backyard Character Tournament. Hi guys, I'm Amy Kidwell, your host and realtor here in our little neck of the woods we call Disney's Backyard. This week you'll have a chance to vote on 16 more matchups starting Thursday on Instagram and TikTok. You can also vote early on YouTube during coffee time, live Monday at 9 a.m. If week 2 is anything like week 1, it is certainly going to be exciting. Let's look back at the results from week 1, starting with our character insider, Eric, looking at the Heroes bracket.
As expected, Mickey Mouse defeated Baymax rather easily, getting 90% of the internet vote, and of course, his selection was unanimous among our experts. In round 2, Mickey Mouse will take on half-man, half-amazing Hercules. He put the Glad in Gladiator, and he got over the hump in a tough matchup versus Quasimodo. So next week on deck, it's Hercules versus Mickey Mouse.
We had our first tie in one matchup in the Heroes bracket. Sully and Jack Skellington were in a dead heat in the TikTok voting. Sully carried about 65% of the vote on Instagram. Our team was split as well. Ultimately, it was Daisy Jane's pick of Jack Skellington that sends the Pumpkin King into the next round.
We had a feeling that would be a tough matchup, and it did not disappoint. Monsters, Inc. fans will have another chance when Mike Wazowski goes up against the Little Mermaid Sebastian next Sunday in the wildcard bracket.
That sets up a big matchup in the round of 32 as Aladdin got one jump ahead of the good guy, defeating Mr. Incredible, and he'll take on Jack Skellington in round 2.
Shockwaves in the Heroines bracket. We had Snow White at a 70% chance to win her matchup, thanks mostly to her $1 billion performance over time at the box office. But Moana just squeaked by and got the upset here. With newer, younger characters performing well against their veteran opposition, could we be seeing a new character wave in this year's tournament? We'll be sure to keep an eye on it as the tournament progresses.
The Moana victory sets up a big matchup in round 2 against number 8 Jasmine, who pretty easily defeated number 9 Pocahontas. Rapunzel hitting the snooze button on Aurora, sending Sleeping Beauty back home and moving herself into the next round. Notably, 92% of the TikTok audience selected Rapunzel.
We'll get another old school, new school matchup in round 2 when Rapunzel tangles with Wendy from Peter Pan.
That's right, Merida put on a brave performance but couldn't win this bear of a matchup. So round 2 is number 16 Moana versus number 8 Jasmine and number 4 Wendy against number 12 Rapunzel. Moving to the villains bracket, we saw the Evil Queen move past Mother Gothel fairly easily. She'll take on Jafar in round 2 as he had a unanimous victory over Oogie Boogie. Lower in the bracket, we had Hades defeating Cruella de Vil in a split decision, and then we had Maleficent defeating Clayton at the bottom of the bracket in a dominating performance. In fact, the most dominating of the tournament so far.
Just complete and total domination from the Twin Towers of Evil, Maleficent and the Evil Queen in the villains bracket. People often mistake them for one another, but there could be no mistaking their performances today. Their opponents in round 2 may feel that they've been cursed.
I think the next round is going to be so interesting. You've got two very regal figures in Jafar versus the Evil Queen, and two villains known for their use of fire in Maleficent versus Hades. Very excited to see where those two go.
We all thought we might have an upset in the wildcard bracket with Donald Duck taking on Olaf. I think we thought a little too much of that little snowman. Donald showed us who's the boss and moved ahead easily. Timon and Pumbaa made a meal out of Mushu. Pooh Bear ended experiment 626. And Nemo swam like a jellyfish and stung like a jellyfish as he defeated the fairy godmother.
There was never really any doubt that Pooh Bear was going to advance from his matchup in the wildcard division. Not only did he have a perfect 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, he's also our host's favorite character. To have him fail to advance would have not only been the greatest upset in the Disney's Backyard Character Tournament, it may just have been the greatest upset of all time.
Hooray for Pooh Bear. Okay, it was no surprise, no secret. I love Winnie the Pooh's my favorite, so yay, congratulations for that. But you know what? These matchups are getting tougher and tougher.
Checking in on the controversy with Donald Duck fighting for that number 1 seed, he barely squeaked by Olaf in this first round, but the tournament only gets tougher from here. Frozen fans, don't worry, Anna and Elsa are both in the heroines bracket with their first matchups this Friday.
I think for me in round 1, the biggest surprise was Moana. Mickey Mouse won so easily that I thought the other old school Disney icon would advance easily as well, but it just goes to show you that anything can happen in the Disney's Backyard Character Tournament. We'll have a preview of our round 1 matchups coming up right after this reminder. The Disney's Backyard Character Tournament is brought to you by Heart and Home Orlando, and that's us. I'm the top realtor in Disney's backyard, the area just west and north of Walt Disney World. That's the most magical place on earth. I'm here to help you buy or sell in Disney's backyard, or just to help you better understand the real estate market in general. Plus, we have a lot of fun together, so let's get back to the fun. Continuing in the Heroes bracket, we start with one of the toughest matchups of round 1, number 6 Simba versus number 11 Tarzan. Then it's the Beast versus Flynn Rider, Woody versus Flick, and Peter Pan versus Ralph. Eric, what matchups are you most looking forward to?
That's a simple one, Amy. It's number 6 Simba against number 11 Tarzan. It's the Rumble in the Jungle. It's the one who just can't wait to be king against the one that's already proclaimed king of the jungle. It's also Elton John soundtrack versus Phil Collins soundtrack. It's Na Zipuya versus Zabadub Doobadoop Dabadoop Dabadiba Doobada.
The Heroines bracket is the most competitive of the entire tournament, and the second half of round 1 is no exception. We've got Ariel versus Tiana, Alice versus Anna, Belle versus Mulan, and Cinderella versus Elsa. Those matchups will be ready for you to vote on starting on Friday. On Saturday, we move back to the Villains bracket where we have a lot of evil going head-to-head. The number 6 versus number 11 matchup is The Little Mermaid's Ursula versus Judge Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think she's a big favorite there. We've also got Captain Hook versus Emperor Zurg, Gaston versus Scar, and the Wicked Stepmother against Syndrome from The Incredibles.
3 of the 4 matchups seem very easy to predict. You've got to see Ursula, Captain Hook, and the Wicked Stepmother moving ahead fairly easily. But Gaston versus Scar is a matchup for the ages. Every last inch of both of them is covered with hair. They're both fighting against a beast. They both also have oddly great singing voices. This is going to be a good one.
We'll round out round 1 with the bottom half of the wildcard bracket on Sunday. Sebastian versus Mike Wazowski, Dumbo versus Dory, Lumiere versus Cusco, and Dopey versus Wally are all on tap.
For me, the interesting one there is that 4th matchup, Dopey versus Wally. Silent, but deadly.
What do you mean?
That's a common expression, silent but deadly. It just means that they don't talk a lot, but they're both very vicious competitors. What did you think I meant?
Never mind. In any case, big congratulations to our round 1 winners, and we look really forward to next week. Remember, you can vote every week on Coffee Time Live, Mondays, 9 a.m. on YouTube, and also on Instagram or TikTok this Thursday through Sunday. We'll have the results of round 1 on Coffee Time next week, and then we'll preview a really tough round of 32. As always, thanks for being a part of our Heart and Home Orlando family. Please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. Happy house hunting.